So can you think of, as you think about everything that's happening, can you talk about some like hopeful or positive things that you see happening at this moment or coming out of what we're going through?
Sure. So um, I've been joking about this with my kids. Um, I think we always joke that winter in our household is the entire winter is just cold season. It seems like starting in November through March, basically our whole family has some variation of a cold, and that's because we joke that kids are germ factories when they get in schools. And I think now for the first time, my kids and probably a lot of kids are realizing why it's so important to wash your hands. And not only that, but how to wash your hands. My kids used to think that washing your hands meant throwing their hands under water, putting soap on it, throwing their hands under water, and that was it. Sometimes not even drying their hands. And in fact, that does almost nothing, washing your hands like that. So I think that we could see that there is overall an effect, a broader effect on health that could cut down on transmission of the seasonal flu, that could cut down on transmission of colds. And even though right now, the seasonal flu doesn't seem like a big deal, the seasonal flu actually is very dangerous also and really harms a lot of people every year. So that could be one positive effect. I think another positive effect is that scientists have known that a pandemic like this was possible for a long time, and have had a hard time convincing governments, especially governments, to put the type of planning in place that could have lessened the effects of this. Because we have not seen a pandemic like this in anyone's life who's alive today, essentially, or if you were alive during 1918, you'd be over 100 right now. Because of that, it has been easy for governments to not put the money into public health that's really needed. And so I think one positive effect of this could be realizing the overall importance of public health, and that could and would help us not only in the case of pandemics, but in the case of anything that could arise in public health. And so I think that could be a very positive effect. I also think that on a sort of personal level, one thing we've been doing in my family is every day trying to figure out just things that we're grateful for. And I live in a part of the world where a lot of people have good access to medicine, where most people have access to healthy food. And it has made us sort of recognize how lucky we are in many ways, and really focus on what's important. And I think that that's also something that in the longer term is probably good for all of us.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time and speaking with us. And I just wanted to give one more opportunity if there's something you'd like to add that we didn't get to talk about, or something else you want to put out there for our community.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one thing that me and my family have been realizing is that this is obviously a scary time, but it's also a time where we can work together as a family, really focus on what's important to us, and do things together and do things online with our friends that we haven't had a chance to do before. So I'm sure a lot of people have the experience that on a day-to-day, I'm sure a lot of people have the experience that day-to-day life is just so busy. It's hard to sort of stop and assess everything that's going on. And I think one thing that has been important to me and my family, and I know my kids' friends, has been to really think about what they want to do, what they want to spend their time doing, and make sure that they're not just sort of sitting on the floor picking their feet all day, but deciding what's important to them and then making sure they do it.